Hello, hello, hello. This is Linwood Cox Jr. with the Book of Aliel Cast. Thanks for hanging out with me. As I said in weeks, for those who are weary in spirit will gain understanding, and for those who lament will accept instruction. Today, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the levels of success for my business at Imago Dei Fashion Consulting. I felt inspired to make sure that the principles that I have in my business that I share in a sense with you on social media, on YouTube, TikTok, and stuff. So I'm super excited about this just because typically when I do these videos, I'm trying to put as much flavor in a 8 to 10 minute episode as possible, but I have then the ability now to really split this up into 4 sections. The sections on these coming weeks are going to talk about, first of all, the life category, which is going to be split into 2 levels, which is the everyday life attire, as well as the level 2 being sports and travel attire. Excuse me if you see me looking down. Just want to make sure that I give proper information. And then moving on to the elite category, we're going to be talking about level 1, which is date and vacation attire. And then moving to level 2, we're going to be talking about executive wedding and ball attire, which I'm super excited to be able to cover these topics and to be able to bring value to you. Full disclosure, I will be drinking my coffee just because it's morning for me. Don't know what time it is for you, but just want to make sure that that I'm up on the topics that we're going to be covering today. So let's just dive in. So we're talking about everyday life attire today, and again the life category, life level 1. So in this category, we're talking about basic hoodies, t-shirts, casual shirts, shorts, jeans, shoes, mainly your basic tennis shoes that you'll be wearing in this category. But to move into the vocations where you can see these clothings that are appropriate, we're talking about casual hangouts with friends, family. We're talking about grocery store runs, when you go to your favorite market store. We're talking about outdoor concerts and venues, typically making sure that they're weather appropriate. You're going to be dancing, having a lot of fun and stuff like that. So you're going to make sure that you want more loosely comfortable clothing, picnic area venues and stuff like that, where you're going to go listen to live music. And then, your basic just coffee shop attire. Now, especially when it comes to an area like coffee shop, I know that there are a lot of working individuals that go to coffee shops. And so what I also want to communicate is that these types of clothings aren't mutually exclusive to these venues. But in a general sense, when you're going to these areas, you're just trying to relax and have a comfortable time. Now, one of the points that I want to talk to about when it comes to any type of clothing is to talk today about, you being comfortable and you being just you. You've heard this term before, that you should just want to be comfortable with who you are as an individual. Not a lot of conversations, I believe, warrant this level of conversation. But when we're talking about this particular topic here, I think that it will suffice. I believe that you should never be in an altercation or in a avenue where you feel like that you need to impress people. No matter if you're talking about the basic nature of who you are, or you're going to a wedding, as we'll talk into further conversations. But the reality of it is that you need to be asking the question, not whether or not you're impressed by yourself, right? You're trying to create an identity for you. What you're talking about is whether or not you're pleasured, and you're actually, if you're pleasured by, the person that you are. Same thing that would then be communicated to people. It's you're okay with the conversation that you're pleasurable to some, right? But, you're never trying to walk into areas into where you're trying to impress people, right? At all. You'd be asking the conversation if whether or not people are pleasured by who you truly are and who you are as an individual. And it could be a different conversation for most. I'm not going to do a counseling session, but for this particular topic, this speaks volumes for our generation, to where a generation of people, regardless of how old you are, and to where when we think mentally about where we are, we're talking about whether or not we're trying to impress people. So you'll dress lower because you don't feel like that there's anybody to impress, right? But even when you're dressing lower, right, you still want to be pleasured, right? You want to find yourself to be in pleasurable conversation with people, right? You want to be attractive in that nature to meet people. So you might dress down and you're not pleasuring you're not communicating this, right? And then so you're not meeting relationships, you're not enthralled completely with the avenue is because the set decorum in this particular area is that there's no one around to impress, and you're not trying to impress yourself. So why try? And I think that in your basic nature, that's the wrong way to view it. So but I'll do a brief, this is not, an extensive category, because I think that most people know how to wear basic wear, but let's just talk about a couple of things. Fit, for one. Whether or not you're talking about t-shirts or you're talking about jeans, know your size. I've, had this conversation in different videos to where I've expressed, particularly with jeans, that you need to go for a fitting session. It makes no sense if you're an obese category or you're over muscular to if you're talking about wearing muscle fit or slim fit clothing to wear clothes that don't fit you because it's inappropriate. And in most cases, you're trying to impress an image that's not actually you. And at the same decorum when we're talking about now, like a more 90s style baggage and stuff like that, I get it, it's cool. But the reality is, if you're trying to fit an image, you're not considering the way that it communicates. The reality is that regardless of whether or not you're a skinny individual or you're smaller or any of these things of that nature, there are expressions of yourself that are healthy and unhealthy. And if you're walking around wearing baggy clothes, I don't know, if you're extremely baggy clothes, right? It's just not communicated as attractive. And the reality is that, you would be having a conversation of whether or not you were accepted by the person that you were and not by an image that you're trying to meet out there in the general public. And I know that that's saying a lot, because that could say, you could be, hurt by that opinion. But the reality is that everything in moderation is key. Moving into a moderate conversation, we're talking about logos and stuff like that. Know your wealth. I get it. Tommy Hilfiger, Balenciaga, and all these things, they're cool. Balenciaga, they're all cool. But the reality is that they're not cutting you paychecks. So if you're wearing clothing, big Nike brands and stuff like that all the time, understand they're not paying you. So make sure that if you're wearing these images and you're wearing these logos and stuff like that, that you've attributed to this actually being something that's pleasurable for you. And to note that, if you're walking around trying to wear expensive labels and stuff like that, it's not cool. And lastly, I will talk about just colors. You have to understand that there are different colors that can be seen as abrasive, and there are colors like red and lime greens and stuff that just don't communicate well. So understand that in basic life, you're going to be wanting to fit the basic venues that are around you. So you're going to be talking about your stonier colors, your more beige colors, your browns, your grays, not a extreme red, but a light colored red. And we're going to be talking about not extreme purple, but a lavender purple. In most times will communicate a lot better. So think about these tidbits. I hope this brings value to you. And again, I'm super excited about this. But again, my name is Linwood Cox Jr. For any of those who need counseling advice, consulting advice, just reach out to me, imagodayfashion.com, and we can book a conversation. Super excited about the upcoming weeks. Take care, love you, and I'll talk to you later.